Hey, what's up, guys? This is episode 2. I'm here with Desirae Rocha.
Not a mixtape.
We making the bangers here.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get this party started here, shall we?
Yes.
So, Desirae Rocha, once again, I commend you for coming in to the hottest house here in Arizona, especially, coming from. Well, you have to work today too, or?
I did work today.
Damn, you see that? Powerful.
There we go.
So, coming after work, and you're here now.
Yes.
Enduring 99-degree weather in my home right now.
Snaps for the 99.
Hey, your makeup's looking good, your hair is looking good, your fit's on
you.
point. We're gonna dive into a lot of different topics. I just want to make sure you're ready for it, okay?
I'm excited to be here in this 99-degree hot house in hot city, Phoenix, Arizona.
That's right.
Showed up. So
That's
yes,
right.
I'm ready to get into it,
Okay.
and I'm happy to be here.
First things first, I know you are involved in the community, and I wanted to dive into some of those things as well, but I really wanted to share with my audience really who you are. What was instilled in you as a kid to want to be able to navigate the world and try to figure out who you want to be?
So I'll get into the first question, the who am I, right? I think that's such a vast question, because I think we're such multifaceted people that we are many things. And so with that, for one, I considered myself a multifaceted visionary of sorts because I wear many hats. But at the heart of it, I am a mother, an educator, a lover of all things delicious and wonderful, but most of all, a fellow contributor to the community, longtime lover of education, lover of travel. So I'm many different things, but my favorite is a mom.
Okay.
And so to get into your second question about what shaped me to want to be and be in the career that I'm at and help the students that I'm helping and be involved in the community, I will say that started when I took an after-school job when I was about 17 years old, and I was working in the Phoenix Elementary School District in the after-school program, and I realized that I really liked working with students. It felt very natural, very comfortable, and to be honest, it didn't feel like work. Like I could come in and everybody knew me, they wanted to be a part of my programs or my class or however, and it was nice to have that feeling of, I feel like I belong here. Like I feel like these are my people. And I noticed from students to parents that they would come to me and talk to me about things, and I was at one point just like, I had answers for people at such a young age, and I thought that was very different because it didn't feel like what I was doing was work. It felt like what I was doing was fun and that I was liked, So in that pivotal time of me being a 17-year-old and feeling like, wow, I think I could work with teenagers. I think I could work with the youth. I think I want to do something that involves me working with the youth. But I knew at that time that I didn't want to be a teacher. I just knew that I wanted to work with the youth in some type of capacity.
Okay.
And from there, it really turned me on to finding positions and jobs where I was able to have a role with students of all different types of ages.
So that being said, tell us about the very first time you either got an email, got a phone call. Was it your buddy that hit you up? What exactly happened to where you got your first gig of working with kids?
Okay. I was in college and I had a friend, she was working at the elementary school, and she was like, hey, there's a job opening here. She's like, I think you should take it. She's like, and we can all work together. And I was like, I get to work with you? Heck yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
So, and that was fun, like getting to work with a friend.
Yeah.
And being able to like hang out after work and grab coffee before work. And we're young, right? So it was literally a reference. Somebody referenced me to work there. My friend was already working there. So I was like,
I feel like that's the perfect thing. That's like, especially when you're kids, you always, you hit your boys, you hit your girls up, and you're like, man, one of these days we're going to get a cul-de-sac. We're all going to live next to each other.
We worked right by the Sonic, so every time we got off of work, it was like cherry limeades and chilling,
I like that.
So it was like work became fun. I got to see my friends, and it was literally off a reference because she worked there. She thought I would be a good fit for it. Okay. And then it was a kind of a wrap from there. I started, working.
And what was that? What exactly?
I was a peer coordinator for an after-school program at the Phoenix Elementary School District.
Okay.
So right in the heart of downtown Phoenix. And I was working at the time at Emerson Elementary School.
Okay.
In the after school program there.
Okay.
So, after school, like the kids that their parents got to pick them up a little later or whatever, they come to the after school program, we help them with their homework, we get them a snack, we're either on the field or playing around or doing a craft or watching a movie or something for after school.
Yeah.
And it was the kick it spot, it was a hangout spot, and I got to hang out.
Yeah.
And like be with my friends and be with students and like what I was doing.
That is the number one feeling that everybody in this world wants to have, is that they want to have fun while they're at work. They
Yes.
want to feel accomplished while they're at work. They want to feel that type of warmth
Right.
of what they do for a living.
Absolutely.
So you being able to do that and successfully be a part of the community in that way is, in my eyes, that's amazing.
Well, I mean, I was a Parks and Rec kid myself. So I grew up going to the after school program, City of Phoenix Parks and Rec, right after school. I remember my after school homie, like, the people who coordinated it all and who ran it all.
Yeah.
And I remember being really close and cool with them and them actually having pivotal parts of my life where I remember them and they were supportive and all that stuff. So PAC, right? Like Phoenix after school, like,
oh yeah,
all of that.
Actually, that was lit.
Yeah,
that was the
Parks
time to
and
be,
Rec,
you know what I mean?
right? So
Oh, yeah.
I remember when I was offered that job, I was like, oh, this is like Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
And I remember the impact that they left on me and having good, cool people to hang out with after school that were adults. And I was like, oh, that's me now. Because,
How fun,
right?
No, that's honestly really, really cool. I grew up in the after school program and stuff like that. I also had some really, really cool mentors as well. And as crazy as it sounds, after, maybe 40, 50 days into the whole No AC challenge, I was messaged by my third grade teacher, Miss Via.
Oh, wow.
And this was a long time ago, this is a long time ago, but one of my favorite teachers. Very humble, super nice, and having my mom and my dad working later hours, obviously we would either go to the after school program and, we play with kids, do whatever we want to do, or I would be able to hang out with her and she would put on these little tapes for like reading and writing and just little things like that while she like graded her work. And my mom would just come into the school, pick me up from the class, and sometimes it would be late. Like sometimes it would be close to like 7 o'clock. You know what I mean? She had no business being at school that late. I'm sure she wanted to go home, but she stayed there with me and kind of was my mentor, for that short year. And yeah, she messaged me the other day and she wanted to wish me luck. She was very proud of me. And that was one of those moments where I was like, wow, I was sitting in my car in my garage. I just came home and I got the message and was like, wow, oh my gosh. I'm getting messaged by one of my teachers that I looked up to about how proud she is of me. That right there was a moving moment for me. Very, very pivotal moment to where I was like, wow, I can't stop now. Here I am. I'm not quitting. It's day 111. We only got a few more weeks left. So it's definitely cool to see that, especially coming from somebody who knows all about the after school programs and somebody that now has worked in the after school programs. You see the youth growing up, you see these kids, you know what I mean? And hopefully one of these days, these kids are going to be able to do something for the community and we'll be able to reach out to them and say, hey, you know what? Because that's what we need, you know what I mean?
I have students that are already doing that, which is so cool, I get calls and texts about reference letters or, hey, I'm doing this, or show up to my art show, or one of my, mentees just got her own, aesthetics place. And so there's a lot of such a powerful message in being able to help others because you don't know what kind of impact you have on them. I had a student recently that reached out to me and I haven't talked to her since she was maybe a senior in high school. And I think she's far along now, but she texted me and was like, you said X, Y, and Z to me in class one time and I'll never forget it. And it's the reason why I got into the field that I'm in. And she asked me for a reference letter and told me like how I impacted her life. And I didn't know that. You don't know. You don't know until you know, right? Sometimes you could be a pebble in a pond and you have very small ripples, or you're a boulder, right? And you have major ripples, and you don't know the lives that you're affecting and who they're affecting and how that's affecting other people. So, I mean, for instance, your teacher reached out to you to tell you she was proud of you.
Yeah.
And I bet you that just inspired you to just want to keep on going.
Honestly, I was like, wait, what? Miss Via? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then the other day, I went on the air with 101.5 with Joy Boy and Sienna. And Sienna reached out and was like, hey, your third grade teacher is my aunt. I said, what?
Miss Via?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Bro, what a small world, dude. What a small world. And it's one of those things where it's like, wow. Just to piggyback off of what you were saying, it's crazy to see the impact that you have, and not to mention the ripple effect that your impact can have on somebody else.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely you're in a very powerful position, and I want to say that's even more powerful than some of these politicians and stuff like that. That working with the youth is very, very powerful.
You know, if I'm completely transparent, I have turned down several jobs and several higher positions because it turns me from being forward facing with students.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Ooh, let's get into that.
I can have higher roles than what I'm doing, but in those roles, I'm no longer boots on the ground with students. I'm no longer face to face. I'm in a pretty office somewhere where I'm going to conferences and, et cetera, which is great. I love that. And maybe eventually I'll get there. Maybe I won't. But for the knowledge that I have and what I'm able to do with students and how I can connect to them, I can't connect to them from an office.
Right.
I can look pretty in an office, and I can have a nice BMW and like go swipe my badge every time I go in, but I'm not connecting to who matters to me. My students have always been my why. Like, why do you continue to do what you do? It's because I love being able to influence the next generation, to drop a seed of knowledge and help it grow, right?
Wow.
I mean, again, I can have bigger titles. I make the conscious decision to stay forward facing with students because that's what's needed. Like, our youth needs more mentors. They need more people to see them, to hear them, to believe them, and to grow their confidence.
Yeah.
And I feel like the only way that I can do that is if I continue to stay forward facing with students.
Wow, that's humble. That's super humble, because I'm just going to put a random statistic out there. Maybe 7 out of 10 people would be like, yeah, more money, more pay, and I don't have to deal with these kids. I'm good, especially coming from the South Side where we come from.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
I went to Clovis C. Campbell, elementary.
RSD kids. We're RSD kids.
Exactly. Graduated from South Mountain High School. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where we don't have the most polite students. You know what I mean? Obviously, even like from our friends. You know what I mean? Some of them either end up going to jail, or some of them obviously end up making it in this world. But 9 times out of 10, it's one of those things where it's like it's a concrete jungle. And
Absolutely.
It's really tough.
No,
it's really tough to be a teacher in these worlds, and I'm hoping that the teachers get what they deserve as far as like their pay. They need more vacation. They need like art supplies, even school supplies, math supply, everything. You know what I mean?
I believe
needs to be provided.
Teachers should be paid like doctors.
Yeah, for free. You know what I mean? I feel like teachers should get all that stuff for free.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because this youth that is growing up is going to be the future. You know,
they are our future commissioners and our presidents and our police officers and our everything. So if we're putting into our teachers, then we allow them to effectively and happily and in a healthy manner teach and steward the next generation of students.
It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
That's. I mean, look at us. We were just kids.
Literally.
Yeah, we were just kids. What, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Damn, I age to show.
Oh shoot. So I mean, and now look at us. You're part of the community. You're giving back to the youth. I'm working in law enforcement. I'm doing my thing and trying to help the community as well. So it's like we are the example of what the youth is going to be. So yeah, I feel like it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely, me too.
So that being said, now that we know that you are from the South Side.
Gay.
So what exactly, like, what are some tribulations that you've been through? Because I know it's not all butterflies and rainbows in this.
It's definitely not.
Here, so.
Well, growing up, I had a huge identity crisis growing up in the South Side. I was never Mexican enough for the Mexicans, and I was too Mexican for the white people. So a lot of my best friends and closest friends are African American, So I had to fit in somewhere because I never fit in really anywhere. And it was hard for me because, again, I was a brown-skinned girl, but couldn't hang out with the brown people because I really wasn't brown enough for them, right? And my white homies, I was a little bit too crazy, a little too out there for white homies, which is fine. You learn to find your own way. And when I was in 7th grade, I got invited to this program with my mom. It was called the Hispanic Mother-Daughter Program. And for the first time, I seen brown girls who looked like me that allowed me to fit in somewhere. And I felt like, oh, okay, so there are people like me. I'm not like in a silo, And I was raised by parents who taught me how to self-advocate for myself. They taught me to have a voice. So growing up in South Phoenix, having a voice, being brown, not, having the confidence to speak your mind, it came with a lot of heat. And till this day, it still does, because I ain't changed really too much, except for my zip code and my credit score and a few other things.
Yeah.
So being a little young brown girl from the South Side, like, I was always getting in fights. I wasn't really like a favorite. Because one, I came from a cool family. I had an outspoken attitude, and all my homies were black. So if you kind of, get the gist of like, you learn the ropes, and you learn where you fit in. And I didn't fit in really a lot of places. And I was somewhat, and I'm such a social person, but I was somewhat of a loner sometimes because of that. And because I had a voice and I wasn't going to let other people influence me, I was always kind of like a little bit of a black sheep in a sense, but with a voice, right? So kudos to my parents for really embedding self-advocacy into me at a young age and not letting anybody tell me anything. It's somewhat of a problem to nowadays, but having that at a young age and being able to embed that and growing up in the hood, I'm just literally a little brown girl from South Phoenix that decided that she wanted to be an educational resource plug for the youth, and it ain't all butterflies growing up in South Phoenix, Then knowing that I was growing up in South Phoenix, graduated from, an RSD school, went to a private school where I knew nobody, but I was from the hood. I shouldn't have even went there. Like, how could my brown parents afford to take me to a private school, But they did that because they knew if I would have went to any other school, probably would have just been getting in fights and maybe got pregnant young. I don't know. I don't know, but it's you have to learn how to navigate growing up in those spaces. And you cannot let your environment dictate who you're going to become, right? Because you can easily fork in the road. You can easily go one way or the other. Sometimes the other one was a lot better. You got friends and you got parties and you got all these other things that are distracting but fun. And it could go one of either way. And so for me now, I love to say that I'm from South Phoenix. I love to be proud of my hood. So, and that's a part of my story. I never leave that out. Anytime I give a bio anywhere, I always say I'm from the streets of South Phoenix. Anytime I go to a conference and I'm keynoting or I'm speaking to students or I'm doing something, I always make sure to reference where I'm from, because I think it's important that people know, like, you could literally grow up from nothing and become something. And all it takes is a little bit of effort, a lot of confidence, and the idea that you can do it.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Just listening to you, how passionate you are about that, you know what I mean? And making sure that these kids know that you are walking and living proof of getting yourself out, figuring yourself out, and now handling your own business.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's cool. That's really cool. And you want to know what? I honestly wish we had the resources that we had back then that we have now. Because we didn't really have too many of like the pep rallies and motivational speakers and all these people that come into your high schools that talk to you about real life stuff, you know?
No. I mean, I went to private school and we didn't have, I mean, even at a private school with, you know, different classes and more collegiate opportunities, we still didn't have mentors that were coming in and giving us any kind of resources. Luckily, I had an older brother who navigated the college process before I did, and he helped me a little bit. But you really had to find your own way. And it was really just somebody saying, hey, I have this opportunity for you, or hey, I think you should check this out. Does your brain even start to process, oh, maybe I should probably do that, right? Or that I should probably work on this. And a lot of the times it's not until you have a mentor or somebody else actually pushing you in the direction that you even start to move that way, right? A lot of the times we're running in place and not going anywhere very fast, right? So, but you know, all in all, back to my why. Why do I want to keep working with students? Well, so I can be the resource that I never had, right? Like I wanted to be the literal plug, the educational plug of sorts that I didn't get. So if I can do that and I can power up the next generation or just inspire them, one kid, you don't know after that how many other kids would be inspired just by you helping out and inspiring that one.
Yeah, the ripple effect.
The ripple effect.
Yeah. Wow. Very, very powerful, powerful words.
Thank you.
From the world famous.
No, not world famous. We just block famous around here.
Sure. No, honestly, man, it really means a lot to have someone like you.
Thank you.
Be a part of not only my life. This is our first time meeting you and everything else.
Can you believe that?
But, like, this is insane.
Yeah.
This is so insane. But just to hear you physically be someone who you are gives us hope. You know, like I said, 7 out of 10 of these other guys would have taken that job.
Oh yeah.
Like would have been, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and take this pay raise, get my BMW, get my office, and stamp some papers. You know what I mean? So what would you tell somebody like myself that wants to get into public speaking, is a little bit nervous, but ultimately that's their goal in life, is to be able to motivate those that are less fortunate, or even just in general. You know, what would you say are some good advice for someone like myself?
For one, you don't sound like you're not confident in how you publicly speak. I think what you need is more opportunities to do it, right? To get out there and speak and share your story. And a large part of public speaking is really storytelling, right? And when you are storytelling and you're talking about something you're passionate about, things flow effortlessly, right? And so the biggest thing with public speaking, even for me, and I've been doing this since I was a young buck, because I think the first time I publicly spoke in front of a large crowd was in 5th grade when I hosted the talent show.
Oh, wow.
And I got roasted by my teacher because she said my pitch was off. I would go loud, then I would go low. And I'm like, bro, I'm 5th grade, you know?
This is my first time.
This is my first time. I'm new here. So from that point on, I actually realized, I was like, I like this. I'm not shy to do it. So I've always been in places where I was able to speak publicly, whether that was because I was in student council or I was navigating a sports team. But the biggest thing for me was to be confident in what I was talking about on the topic, right? So I'm pretty sure that you have a lot of topics that you can just dive deep on. And it's topics like that that help you grow your confidence in public speaking, because you're on it, right? You're like, I know exactly what to say.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes when you're in front of groups or people that you're talking on maybe topics that you're not extremely passionate about, do things elude you, right? And you don't become as confident because you're not as passionate about it. I could talk about public speaking all day because I've been yapping forever. Right?
Of course.
But what I would teach my students is, one, breathe. Like if you feel that you're going too fast, because sometimes we do that and we just ramble, literally take a step back, breathe. But the other part of that is to teach yourself to train your mind to kill the words and like, right? So for you, you have all of these gadgets in here, and you can easily just record yourself, play it back, and kind of critique yourself. But honestly, the biggest thing, there's no magic to it. It's just practicing and having the confidence, right? Being able to articulate your words, not rush yourself or feel like you're being rushed. Sometimes when we speak publicly, they're like, all right, you got 15.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just spit everything out right here.
Yeah.
Super fast,
Yeah.
right? I've been in spaces where I've had to do that.
Yeah.
And you learn to just pace yourself, but to have the confidence to say, I can do this in 15 minutes. I can do this in 5 minutes. Let me practice it. So even on the way I was coming over here, I've been public speaking for a very long time. I think the largest group I've ever publicly spoke in front of was about 1,100 students.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was at a huge event with the Be a Leader program, and this whole walkathon event, helping students get money to go to college.
Nice.
So they just threw me the mic and said, hey, you're hosting this now. And I said,
oh my gosh, I would be freaking out, dude. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
I was like, all right, let's go. Like, it's go time.
Yeah.
So honestly, confidence.
I can only imagine that.
No, confidence, really that. And I'll give you a little story about my former 4th grade class. I instituted something different into class every single day for a whole year. And it was a public speaking session. And every day they would have a question. Everybody would put questions into the hat, they would pick one out, and they would have to answer it. Didn't have to be long, they just had to get up, they had to say their name, and they had to answer the question. Could be about their favorite movie they're watching right now. The topic didn't matter. What matters was they got up and they said something out loud in front of a group of people that they knew. That was the goal.
Okay.
They hated it in the beginning. They hated it in the beginning.
Yeah.
As they progressed, they started to actually raise their hand to go first instead of me having to pick them. And by the end of the year, they were fighting to go first.
Wow.
Because they felt good about themselves. And when you can feel good about yourself, when you're talking about something, that just comes right out. Like that just exudes from your energy. And for me, I know that public speaking is something that comes easy for me, but I know that it's like the #1 fear over dying for most Americans, for most human beings in general.
Yeah.
And it literally just comes with practice. I normally, when I was younger, I would force my mom and dad and sometimes my brother to listen to me talk about random things.
Oh, wow.
Just because I wanted them to critique me. Because who better to critique you than your family? You know they love to roast you.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, hey, will you listen to me talk about something really quick and tell me how I did. I'm Latina, I talk with my hands all the time. It's something that I can't control. I've been trying to control it for a long period of time, and actually I'm just gonna let it ride. But also, knowing that if you're gonna publicly speak in front of a group of people, you may not even meet those people ever again. So if you mess up, it doesn't even matter, right?
Oh wow, that's a good way of looking at it. I'm not gonna lie, that's solid information right there.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you were talking to a group of 18 to 20-year-olds that you never met, and maybe you'll never see them again, who cares if you mess up? Because they're not going to come back around and be like, hey, remember that one time, long time ago, you messed up in that conversation?
Knowing my luck, golly, I go to the first one and just bomb it. I remember this guy.
Yeah. So for you, you have a platform, you already have a great voice, you have good pitch, you have good tone. Enunciation's big too, right? Enunciating your words, like saying your S's and your T's.
Man, I feel like I'm so bad at that. Oh my gosh. So yeah, let me tell you a story because this will tie into what you're saying. So I remember my first interview I ever did. It was with KTAR, and I remember they called me. I was fresh out of work, took a shower, hopped on the phone with them, and I completely just bombed it. Desirae, when I tell you I like froze, I was so nervous. And the thing is, I was in the comfort of my own home. You know what I mean? Holy moly, imagine that if I was in an auditorium full of kids, they would probably clown me. But anyways, I ended up bombing the interview, and I kind of picked it back up towards the end.
Good.
But it was the first time I ever was on live radio. It was so nerve-wracking. I just was like, wow. And I played it back and I was like, okay, I need to get better at this, especially because this is something that I'm really passionate about. And it's one of those things where even my cousins called me, my mom's called me, my brothers called me. They're like, it could have been a little bit better, you know. But from that point on, I told myself, I said, I'm gonna dedicate every single day to making sure that I can get my words out. I'll find myself even talking into the mirror for a good 15, 20 minutes. And I have my little spiel. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Paul Farmer, blah, blah, blah. Or I'll have my little YouTube spiel. What's up, y'all? My name is AZBACKPACK. So it's like different type of dialogue for each type of scenario. And so it's one of those types of situations where I am working at it. You know, I'm definitely not confident in my skills as of right now to say, hey, you know, let me go ahead and get up on a stage of 1,100 people and have them all look at me. And there's no way I could do it. But I am working at it. And I guarantee you, one of these days, you're going to find me on that TV screen in the front of all these kids sharing my story.
Good.
That's my main goal.
That's amazing. And you deserve that because it's something that you want to do, you're passionate about it, and your story should be shared by you.
Yeah.
And another thing you can do, voice note everybody. Instead of texting, just talk into your phone.
Yeah.
You learn how you sound when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My friends hate me probably. I'm like voice note queen. Like you're going to hear from me.
I think when we first started talking, it was over voice note, and you were like, "Oh, you're a voice note guy." Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I honestly, that's a good way of looking at it.
And you want to come across confident, like you know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
And most of the times, people don't know what they're talking about, so their public speaking fumbles. So for me, you know, I talk about things that I know. I can BS here and there, right? I can finesse some things.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the best times that I feel like when I keynote or I public speak, it's about things that I'm passionate about. Because I can just float off the top of the dome. Everything kind of aligns and it's easy. And like you, sharing your story, sharing your 111 days here, that came easy to you to just get all that out there and say it. And I bet by the end of the year, you'll be on stages somewhere, sharing stories, being confident, flashing your amazing smile, and like connecting to the community.
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited, you know, and I'm in this part of my life where saying no is not part of my vocabulary anymore, and to a certain extent. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where if I would have said no to a certain opportunity, then I would have never had this. And that is probably the best way I'm looking at it and looking at life as of right now, because like the other day when I went with Freddie, went to the Phoenix Rising game. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Imagine if I would have said no to that. We legit were on the field, got to meet all the players. I got a full media access card to do whatever we really wanted.
That was awesome.
Food, drinks, everything. Everything was all free. And imagine if I would have said no to that.
I'm happy that you're saying yes to yourself more.
Yes.
You deserve that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When I first started this whole series, you know, it took me all the way up until day 19 to really start talking about my life and being vulnerable like that. And because my family didn't even know. Like my brothers didn't know. My twin brothers didn't know. My mom and dad didn't know what was going on. My sister. And it wasn't up until like I went to go help my brother move, and we had a good 20-minute, 30-minute conversation about life. And he was telling me, he's like, dude, I had no idea all that stuff was going on with you. If you ever need anything, just reach out to me, bro. I got you. You know, we're family.
That's my cue.
Yeah.
To be vulnerable and let it hold some power.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable. And I don't think men are honored enough in life, in our society, for being vulnerable and being able to have vulnerabilities, right? And it's probably hard for you to express that and then hope for the best. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Because you've been providing for yourself forever. You say you never needed anything.
Exactly.
You've always had your own.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of power in vulnerability, because now you get to be in a more authentic space with yourself.
Exactly.
Right? And now you invite people in to support that. And people don't know what they don't know. And now that they do know, they can support you in different ways that maybe you didn't know that you needed. So that's great. Good for you.
Yeah. I said it's just me kind of just staring at my fan, realizing it and saying, hey, look, this is the reality. Soak it all in, dude. You're doing it.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you didn't have that feeling until the day before when you did the lemonade stand event, right?
Yeah.
And what a great feeling to have that, because a lot of people don't get there. They miss it. Because they're too focused on other things that they miss. This is it. Like, I'm living out things that I asked for, that I've wanted, that I've seeked out. And it doesn't have to be a celebration big as far as like things. You celebrate in your own way, right? And what a gift that you got to have that experience, because now you won't miss it again. You won't miss it because you'll know, I know what this feels like, I recognize it, and I'm gonna honor it.
Yes.
And it's just practice. So learning to practice that and be in partnership with it, being in partnership with being present, that's hard. It's not a lot of times that people know how to practice that. And living in that state of gratitude, like you mentioned, you said you live in this state of gratitude and that you're just like, wow, being able to have that empathy for yourself and understanding for yourself, being in a state of gratitude, people don't live there. They don't live in a state of gratitude. So the more gratitude you have, the more it's going to reciprocate for you. And that's amazing because you're already doing great things and they're coming to you effortlessly. Right?
Yeah. In ways to where I would have never thought. I didn't tell this guy to come fix my stuff. I didn't even know they even knew it was broken. I was kind of like hiding it, what I mean? So he must have seen it and was really looking. And he said, don't even worry about it, dude. I got you. Went back there, got like a little shovel thing, got the pieces, boom, bada bing. He said, don't worry about it. You have a good day. I said, wow. And
I'm sure that you're having a lot more of those moments now than you probably ever have.
Yes. Like the other day, I don't know if you just saw, you found this fortune cookie, and it said, you'll be finding yourself in a new, fulfilling career. And I'm like, this comes from a fortune cookie. And I'm over here thinking like, wow, this is the coolest thing in the world.
I love it.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, wow, I'm so grateful for like everything that's coming my way. It's insane.
That's insane. Amazing. I love that. And I think I can definitely resonate with that because it's not luck. I feel like when you're in alignment, you have gratitude and you're living in your purpose, things just happen for you naturally. They come effortlessly. Because you're out here being great, right? You're like, it's living in your greatness. And a lot of the times you don't even realize that you're doing that. And with living in your greatness comes you showing your greatness to others, like the community and the students you're going to talk to and inspire, and like the next generation of podcasters and doers and skateboarders and backpackers and all of the things that you want to do, right? So that will all come by who you're showing up as right now. And that's something that I pride myself on, especially with my students. And I think it's why I have such a great success rate with what I do with my students in the scholarship program that I'm running right now, is because I see them. I see the greatness in them. And that's how I start every conversation a lot of the times with them. Like, you're in this program because somebody saw greatness in you. And I'm going to keep showing you that throughout the program, you're great.
Wow.
And you're going to be successful.
Wow.
And that just sets the tone for like the whole year. And I feel like I never work or have a job because all I do is like help people be great. And like, what better career or job to have is doing that, like with kids. And that's where you're going. And that's, you're leading right on into that. I mean, I feel like that's kind of why you attracted me into your space, and we had that conversation, and I'm like, I would love for you to talk to my students. And you're like, I want to do that. I'm like, let's do it. Like, and then all of a sudden you invited me here, and now I'm here.
Yeah. I'm hoping one of these days when I become, I guess, more confident in my speaking abilities, I'll be able to do that.
Good for you.
And I'll be calling your line, hey, you know what? I think I'm there.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah, put me in, coach. So, if you had some advice for your younger self as an adult now, what would you tell younger Desirae?
I would tell younger Desirae, don't let the world tell you no. Just because one person or somebody influences you, don't let it dictate who you're going to be. And you can fail as many times as you need to. Because the only voice and the words, the only things that really matter is how you feel about you and not what you think the world thinks of you. Because a lot of the times when I was younger, I really felt like I cared about what everybody else thought of me instead of caring what I thought of me. And being young, you get easily influenced. So if I were to tell myself anything, I would say, fail as many times as you need to and listen to you and what you feel is right and do what makes you happy. Because in the end, the only thing that matters is that you're happy. The money doesn't matter. The materialistic stuff doesn't matter. If you're happy, all of that stuff is going to come with it. It'll all align.
But if your younger self was like, nah, forget you, girl, I'm gonna do my thing.
Like, whatever. She's like, yeah, I'm trash.
Yo, who is this bum? No, no.
I think she would be like, maybe.
No, maybe. Yo, shit. Yeah, little stubborn me. Yeah,
Just a little stubborn.
Yeah.
You know, she got us places though.
Yeah. No, that's legit though. That's legit. I did want to end this off. I do have a gift for your daughter.
Oh, wow.
Because
okay.
I saw that she was into mixed martial arts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guess she's a black belt.
She is a 2nd degree black belt.
That is crazy.
She is a world champion in extreme martial arts. So she's doing amazing right now in her martial artistry. She is currently on like a competitive demo team where they travel and they compete.
Wow.
And she's actually one of the youngest 2nd degrees right now in Arizona.
Wow.
With the world championship title.
Yeah.
So not to brag or anything, she's just, she's
a badass.
out there doing it. Yeah.
She's a badass, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I have a little gift for her. I was into mixed martial arts and stuff like that as growing up as a kid, and then even in high school, I was the team captain of South Mountain High School wrestling team from 2011. I actually have some of my old wrestling shoes in my music room right now that was signed by the one-legged college wrestler.
I know him, yes. His mom was actually my mentor in the when I was in the Hispanic Mother-Daughter program.
Really?
Yes.
Small world. I'll
Super
tell you
small world.
My
Yes,
aunt,
Anthony Robles, right?
Yes,
Judy
Anthony,
Robles is his mother.
Yeah.
Shout out to Judy. I love her.
Yeah, my aunt, she took me to my first college wrestling match, and he was there killing it. And I was so amazed at his skills and everything else. He signed my shoes and everything else, which is awesome. So I've always been into that sport.
Yep.
And I wanted to pass along my very first ever. This is my very, very first sparring hands here, my pads that I want to give to your daughter.
Wow, thank you.
Yes,
Your very
ma'am.
first. Are you sure you want to give these away?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Oh, yes.
She
Oh, yeah.
spars, so these are going to get put to use.
I mean, I've used them constantly. They are messed up beyond
That's
belief.
okay.
But maybe
That's
I
amazing.
think she might like those.
No, she will like them.
Yeah.
She spars herself, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of
I can't wait
course.
to give it to her.
Of
I'm going
course,
to tell her
of course.
I went to a podcasting and I brought back a gift for you from AZBACKPACK,
Yeah,
aka
yeah.
Paul Farmer,
No,
aka
trust me.
future public speaking connoisseur.
Hey, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Of course, of course.
Grateful.
But that being said, it is day 111 of the No AC Challenge here in Arizona. We're here with Desirae Rocha, and she has endured the nasty, sweaty, disgusting portion of this home.
Oh my God.
And I can't thank you enough for being here. And I can't wait to hopefully one of these days be able to work for you and work with you and alongside you in helping spread the positivity and motivation to the youth.
It's been an honor to be here.
Of course.
And to
Always
meet
a
you
pleasure.
and see you, meet you for the first time, be in your presence, but also share, like-minded visions. And I consider you a multifaceted visionary as well, So it's been a pleasure to be here in your sweaty castle. And I absolutely loved being a part of this.
Yeah.
And thank you for considering me and considering that anything that I had to say was of value to you and your show and to your movement.
Yeah.
I really, really do appreciate that, and I'm grateful to have the honor.
With that being said, let's roll this thing up.
It's hot.